Hello, I am Mantastic and Fantastic, and today I'm going to be giving a brief little public service announcement as to new news in Japan, as well as an update on the first impressions thing. So first and foremost, I want to apologize for the 50-odd people who watched a video with no sound. Apparently my microphone wasn't plugged in, but it's working now because I can see the microphone lighting up. Regardless, the public service announcement for Japan is that the extra latent slot Tamadras are going to be changing in the way that they function. So presently speaking, you have to have your base monster 297 and the latent 297. So you're effectively wasting a plus 297 to gain one more latent slot. So you go from 5 to 6. Now, that is quite costly, and it was only done on your most valuable or important cards because you want to make sure you get as much value out of them depending on how rare or common a 297 is for yourself. So, by being 3 months behind Japan, we actually have a little advantage because now we see the changes that are occurring. Essentially, the big change is that you do not have to have the latent plus 297 or even the base card. So your base card and the extra latent slot Tamadra don't need 297. So because of all that, we're basically able to save 297. So this is one nice perk about being 3 months behind, because now we can save all of our resources. However, we still have to wait 3 months to actually utilize them, and certain teams and or compositions may be demanding of it. Now, the situations where you want to use the extra latent slot Tamadra are relatively small, mostly because the main cards that tend to be the targets of these are those that can gain extra killers, and those killers can help facilitate more efficient farming experiences. So for example, the Yogg Cosmic Trinity team, they want to have 3 dragon killers or devil killers on their pixel cards because it allows them to actually have sufficient damage to push through the bosses, and that is important. So those situations where you would use them. Other people may want to use them to maybe add an extra SDR, but adding an extra SDR is, well, not really necessary. If you give 5 to a card, that saves you from almost every delay attack in the game. Really just Hephaestus Dragon and Hanuman are longer than 5, so it's not really necessary at this point in time to really stick on the 6th. Other cards, like the only card that I've done was Dark Athena because I wanted to have double physical and 2 specific latents to resist damage from Gaia Dragon or have enough health to survive. But outside these niche situations, you don't really need to, so I would strongly encourage players to not actually waste their 297 on that card. So one thing to keep in mind is that the quest rewards that we got from I think September through November now, we get a extra latent slot Tamadra that comes 297. So if you have a target in mind and you can be patient, you can just simply wait for your base card in 3 months time, leave them unplussed, and then feed them the 297 latent Tamadra. They get the extension and the pluses at the same time because they are fused technically. So that is order of business for the Japan thing. I'll link the official news in the YouTube description down below. It's all in Japanese, it's just text. I could show it, but it doesn't mean anything to me, so you can translate it at your own leisure, but you can take my word for it. The other point of business I want to address is the first impression series. So I did a first impressions video for the Callies Australis, who's apparently a guy, not a girl. Traps are definitely evolving, as well as someone, a Shamali. So basically, I was reviewing cards that were released in Japan, basically reading from Puzzle and Dragon X, like the North American news hotspot, and it seemed to go over well, at least from the content point of view. People, I guess, enjoy seeing a preview of cards being released in the future. Yes, we may have to wait 2 to 3 months, but at least we have something in the back of our mind to plan out accordingly. And those videos are relatively low maintenance on my end. It's just narrating my thoughts. Like I kind of organize them a bit beforehand, maybe write them down somewhere, and then just narrate. So it seems to be that people enjoy it, so I plan to continue doing that moving forward, as well as having follow-ups in those opinions. So for the most part, I tend to write an article and then do a video based on that article, so it's a little more structured, a little more organized. And I still plan to do that, but only when those cards come to North America. So the general gist will be I'll review the cards in a video format when they're announced in Japan, so that might take only a day, maybe 2 at the very worst of a delay, so you get that news relatively quick, and then do the regular follow-up and or article when they're released in North America. So for example, the Callies, I talked about them then. Now I will make an article when they come out to North America because things may have changed, because the meta will have possibly shifted in 3 months time and the Callies may have found a new home. Let's say a brand new rainbow leader comes out that can utilize them beautifully. Well, that's going to be important to write about. So that's why I'm not going to do anything in between the 3 months of when they are released. And then the last thing I want to address is my eating habits in that video. So that video did get good response overall for the content, but there's also less than positive feedback from the eating component. So basically, like, I do physio in the morning, and I basically got home and was really excited to make a video, so I just kind of ate while making the video. In hindsight, I should have just eaten before or eaten after, like just not during the video. It's not appropriate, so I apologize for the eating sounds to those individuals, and moving forward that won't occur unless I'm doing some weird food related video, which some people may or may not like. But regardless, hopefully you all have a fantastic day. I wish you the best of luck saving those 297s from your extra latent slot Tamadra, and happy puzzling.